Okay.
Welcome to season 2 of Cathie and Krishon, Kansas City Real Estate.
And
Are
our
you excited to
first
be back,
one,
Kathy?
yes, and our first one of 2024, which is
Yes,
amazing.
yes. Starting 2024 off with another podcast.
Yes.
So today we want to talk about the market, since it's obviously 2024, about what people can expect out of 2024, because the last 3 years have been very unique real estate markets. And I think this is going to be a little bit of a weirder year for people too.
Weirder, yes, but I think still overall positive, at least in our market area.
Yeah, definitely. So,
Uh-huh.
Kathy, what are you expecting out of 2024 for the real estate market?
Well, I'll tell you, I think for the average right now, it's been a little slower for some people to decide because between the weather and the interest rates, they're waiting for them to go down further and
Yeah.
they're hoping to see more houses on the market.
Hmm.
However, in the research I've been doing, I don't see a whole lot more coming on the market. It's been a
Hmm.
pretty steady pace.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think that as the interest rates, because I've already kind of seen a little bit of a pickup, especially with some listings that I've put on, them getting multiple offers when maybe I wasn't expecting it, but definitely not the craziness of, 2022 in the beginning or 2021 for sure. Um,
Hmm.
Now, I do think that as the rates go down further, the people that maybe refinance into 3% and 4% rates that have been kind of just holding on tightly to those houses, they're going to hopefully let go and put their houses on the market to go find a new house. So I think we'll see more options for buyers as the rates go down. But I also think it'll be kind of a net even because there's going to be more options, but more buyers because those sellers are going to buy houses. So I don't think it's gonna be all these houses flood the market, and then there's just all these houses because they're gonna get swept up by all the sellers too.
Right. And it's sort of interesting. The rates are coming down a little bit already. And I find that the lenders are getting more and more creative of how they can even drop the rates a little bit more
Hmm.
sometimes. But there's a lot of variables. And what I do know is that a lot of people just think that they can open up a mortgage like they do a checking account. And
Yeah,
and they have studied what's the mortgage rate and they figured out on their little calculators or big calculators what the rate that they'll be paying is, and they know how to factor in interest and um, taxes and insurance. However, there's other variables too that have to be considered. And I
hmm,
keep trying to remind people, and I know you do too, that
yeah,
they've got to talk to a lender first to get that pre-approval letter, because it's not like it used to be that you just because you have a good credit doesn't mean you necessarily can get a loan.
yeah. And there's different loan programs for different buyers. So if you know what loan program is going to be the best for you, that could change what house you maybe want to make an offer on. Like if you maybe know FHA is going to have the best rates for you and the best
Mhm.
payment, that maybe means you have to look at houses differently than if you're a conventional buyer where the appraisal requirements won't be so strict.
Right, right. And even some of them are allowing people to do 0% down, which
Yeah.
is with special loan programs. So that's good. Also, I have noticed a trend that it seems like more and more young people, such as yourself, are getting their first homes now
Yeah.
instead of waiting till later. And I think I've been, this isn't your scenario, you've swung it yourself. However, a lot of the younger buyers are now borrowing money or having co buyer situations with friends and relatives to help them get
Yeah.
into the first house.
I'm seeing
And I
that a
think,
lot too.
yeah, and that's really lucky for them, I think. And
Yeah.
good that the mortgage people are allowing it nowadays.
Yeah. I think that will continue to grow just because, you know, prices are higher and people still want to try to make those payments work and try to make the house work. But when they have student loans or other debt, it's like the numbers just don't work for them. Or they
Right.
need, their friend to live with them to be able to make the payment anyway. And, they want to still own something instead of renting. So I think that'll only continue to grow over time.
Yeah, especially if you think about when you said rent versus own, the rents have gone high, and so it's less expensive for a lot of people to go ahead and just buy a house, if at all
Yeah.
possible, for their economic situation.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about timing because everyone always wants to time the market. And I've always been a big advocate of don't time the market so much, buy when you're ready to buy, sell when you're ready to sell. But if
Mhm.
we had to kind of give some advice on like when to buy or when to sell, this is kind of my take in my head. And maybe you'll disagree, maybe you'll agree, who knows? But so I think right now, if you are a buyer, you need to move as quickly as possible to get into a house because I think there's only going to become more competition. Um,
Oh, absolutely.
Now, the vice versa of that is if you find yourself very picky in particular about the house that you want and you need more options to find that house, maybe it'll make more sense to wait until March, April when more houses come on the market, but be prepared to compete for that house.
Right, and possibly pay more just
Yeah.
because of the competition.
Yeah. Well, if you're picky, you might have to pay more. So, yeah. The other thing is, I would say if you need to sell and buy at the same time, I think you need to move quicker too. Because I
Mhm.
think as there's more buyers and more competitions, getting a seller to accept a contingency is going to be more difficult. And right now, we're in a good time where there's maybe multiple offers, but sellers are still reasonable. They're not getting insane or crazy offers like they were in 2021. And if you come with a reasonable offer and you have to sell your house, they're willing to work with you because one, your offer is reasonable, but then two, your house is still going to sell pretty quickly for the most part.
Right, right, but that's a little gamble too that some people may or may not wanna take, because then
Yeah.
they'll say, "Well, where am I gonna go if I can't find something else I want?" And there's
Yeah.
options, short-term rentals or hotels even, some people do, or move in with family for a while and put some stuff in storage.
Yeah, pretty much everyone in 2021, I feel like, was doing that. I feel like no one was selling their house and buying it immediately. They were always there was always a delay in when they closed on their house for sale versus when they end up buying their house because it was just too
Mhm.
difficult to try to do both. And I'm hoping it doesn't get to the point where it's impossible. But I think it will be more difficult as more buyers enter the market to try to do both at the same time.
Yeah, I think definitely you're in a stronger position to sell your house first and not do that contingency.
Yeah, definitely. Well, but I think if you have to do it, if you have to go find a house, buy it, and then list your house right after and
Yeah,
make all that work, I think you're better to do it in the next couple months
true.
versus in May and June when the market's going to be flooded with buyers. One, because it's just summertime, and then two, because the rates are going to be lower.
Well, and also you can negotiate how much time do you think you need to get your house sold and moved. So maybe instead
Yeah.
of saying a 3-week closing, you're going to do a 2-month closing.
Yeah.
And it can be on or before that date. So there are some options, and it all depends upon how you pose the offer and the willingness of the seller to work with you.
Yeah. Definitely.
You rolled your eyes on that one.
I didn't roll my eyes. We can make anything happen. We're magicians, I feel like, or at least our clients feel like we're magicians sometimes.
And sometimes we count our lucky stars that we are. It just
Yeah, well,
happens.
I think sometimes it's just that when we have that good reputation in the community with
Hmm.
other agents, we can get on the phone with them and make stuff happen that maybe doesn't seem possible, but we can do it.
Well, and I think that's the key to a lot of what we do is because we do have a good rapport with the other agents. It's
Yeah,
fun to be able to call up and I don't know what they say to you, but they say, "Oh, Kathy, I haven't talked to you for a while. Thank you for. It's good to hear from you."
yeah,
And
and it does make a difference because I mean, when you know that agent is going to be just a pain versus when you have that agent that you've worked with before, they're great to work with. They're good at talking with their clients and just being reasonable and all that. It makes a big difference in because they're going to tell the seller that oh, this agent is going to make your life miserable, and this seller or this agent and buyer are probably going to be easier to work with.
right, hopefully we don't have to say it's about too many people, but I do groan sometimes when I say who the listing agent is.
Yeah,
But usually, for the most part, everyone's been good,
yeah.
thankfully.
So it sounds like
So
2024 is going to be a great year in real estate.
I believe so. And actually, I was just talking to a lender today that was saying, yeah, it's going to be incredible. So,
Yeah,
and like you said, it all depends on each lender for each person. And that's why I think a key to it is knowing who our clients are and
mhm.
what their needs may be so we can get them situated with the right lender to
Yeah.
make their dream come true of buying a house.
Yeah, and I think definitely it doesn't really matter when you need to buy or sell, whether you're trying to do it in the fall or do it in the summer or do it now. I think you need to be reaching out to us as the agents sooner than later and
Hmm.
start strategizing, what do I need to do with my credit? What do I need to save for the down payment and closing costs? If you're selling, what do I need to, declutter in my house? What do I need to move? What do I need to paint? All that kind of stuff. Just be prepared so that way, because oftentimes I feel like people kind of drag their feet a little bit and then they go on Zillow and they find a house and, oh, I need that house right now, and they're not prepared for it.
Right. Absolutely. And that's where, both of us have been talking about get your affairs in order, not only financially and getting the loan, but get those little honeydew things taken care of in your house so it looks as good as possible. And
Yeah.
if you know you have a big repair, maybe work with a contractor to have them delay full payment until the house closes. Some of them
Yeah.
will do that. So there's different options available.
Yeah, definitely. Well, final question. So, is there anything particular, whether it's real estate or not real estate, that you're looking forward to in 2024?
Well, I really do like working with people. That
Mhm.
gets me my little highs, seeing them happy.
Yeah.
And I see more people wanting to do rental properties too, to buy
Yeah.
investment properties. And
Mhm.
so it's always intriguing. That is a market in itself. And there's a long waiting line of people wanting to grab good deals so they can have either a rehab or a rental scenario or
Yeah.
combination thereof. So I'm anxious to see what comes out. Right now, I have people that are all over the place from wanting 22 plus acres of land within an hour of Kansas City to
Mhm.
somebody that just wants a certain area with a
Yeah.
regular single family home. So I think the good thing is we're versatile and we can handle most people's needs.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to helping more young people buy houses this year. I think it's funny because people think that because I'm younger, I help most young people, and it's really not the case. Now, the percentage of my business that's younger people has grown every year, and so I think it's going to just continue to grow, of course. But I definitely help more people, middle age and in their 30s, 40s, 50s than I do in their 20s. But I'm looking forward to helping more young people get into houses. I've been really big on social media about, if you are settled in your job and you want to own a home, now's the time because the price is only going to keep going up.
Right. And even though I'm not young, I mean, I get a kick out of watching the happy faces of young buyers still by getting their first home.
Yeah, well, you have a young spirit though too.
And what?
like you have a young spirit about you, so I feel like you
Oh,
can
thank
relate to
you.
young people.
Yeah, I really get a kick out of it. At least I'm not that lady walking with a cane.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, there's some good things, and I'm excited about watching what 2024 reveals itself to be.
definitely. Yeah, well, it's been a great episode. We can talk more next week. But everyone listening, please make sure to like this podcast, subscribe to it, share with your friends and family. Send us some feedback if you have any questions you want to talk about. We're excited to get right into season 2.
Thank you. And put us in your Google 5-star category too.
Yeah.